June is right around the corner, and it happens to be Men's Health Awareness Month. I know we're all very concerned during this pandemic about our general health, but it's important we think about the men in our lives. So joining us once again from Halo Diagnostics are Bernadette Greenwood and Dr. Jeffrey Hurst. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Hurst, I know you're a very well-known and regarded urologist. So let's talk a little bit about the end of Poke and Hope, which perhaps young men won't understand what that means, but certainly our older viewers will know what Poke and Hope probably refers to. We're talking about the prostate. Tell us the difference between trust biopsy and an MRI targeted biopsy, and perhaps describe what trust, the acronym for that, means.
Sure. Trust biopsy is a transrectal ultrasound guided biopsy of the prostate, TRUS. And it's been done now for about 30 years. It was a tremendous advance over what we used to do before that, which was really Poke and Hope, where we would put a finger in the rectum and feel a nodule and guide a large bore needle to that nodule to take a little sample of tissue out. But the ultrasound initially was a big advance, and then we noticed, it really wasn't a really well-targeted type of a biopsy. We couldn't really see prostate cancers real well with ultrasound. And so now we do MRI-guided prostate biopsies. The MRI is a much more targeted imaging modality that we can use. It's only been done really in the last 5-6 years where it's become more prominent. And so now we can basically target the biopsies. And instead of getting 12 cores, we may only need to get 3 or 4. So it's a much less difficult experience for a patient to undergo, and it's a much more accurate and precise way of getting prostate biopsies.
Well, that sounds like a great advancement. So how does clinically significant biopsy tissue play a role in the care?
Well, the tissue that we get from prostate biopsy goes to a pathologist. They fix it, stain it, and put it under the microscope. And they come up with what we call a Gleason's score, named after the pathologist who devised this years ago, which is a sum of 2 numbers. And so they'll look at the cells, apply criteria to those cells and give it a score. And they'll look at the structure that the cells make as a group and give that a score and come up with a sum of 2 numbers. That can be prognostic in terms of what this prostate cancer may do, how aggressive the cancer may be for that patient. The higher the Gleason score, for example, the more aggressive the prostate cancer tends to be.
And how do genomics play in a prostate biopsy?
Sandy, in addition to getting the Gleason score, as Dr. Hurst talked about, we can use that very same little bit of tissue, that piece of vermicelli, as he referred to it, and extract RNA from it, not DNA, but RNA. And we can look at molecular subtypes, we can look at genomic patterns, we can look at pseudogenes, and we can establish a low, intermediate, or high-risk profile for the patient. So here at Halo, we're doing a clinical trial that runs the whole human exome, 1.4 million genomes, on any patient that wants us to look at it. So we have a rich database of genomic information on our patients.
It sounds like there is so much excitement going on over at Halo Diagnostics, but I know our viewers are concerned, is this a painful process?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I developed the biopsy system for a company in Europe, I put in the marketing literature that it was less risk of bleeding, infection, and pain. And one of the corporate attorneys called me up and said, "How can you say that? How can you prove that?" I said, "I have an idea. Get on an airplane and come out here. I'm going to stab you 18 times in your left arm, and I'll stab you twice in your right arm. And you tell me which is less painful, less blood, and less risk of infection."